Pittsburgh Steeler fans, welcome back to another episode of the Scho Bro Show. This is Steel Curtain Network editor Dave Schofield coming at you. It's just after 9 o'clock. It's Tuesday night. Where else would you rather be? And with me as always, except when he's not, is my big brother Rich, Big Bro Scho. How's it going tonight?
Well, we will take a minute and we will breathe in that sweet smell of victory that we somehow came away with.
Somehow, some way, find a way. Hey, that's what matters. I do it with my numbers article every week. The only number that really matters at the end of the day is, are you putting a 1 in the win column or a 1 in the loss column? That's what it all comes down to. It wasn't pretty. There are some things that you can get excited about. There are a lot of things that you might not be excited about as a Steelers fan. But the one thing we should all be excited about is the fact that the Steelers pushed their record to 3-2 going into the bye week. Now, so Rich,
it weren't pretty.
I edit your knee-jerk reaction article. I see how things are going as it's going. But with our new system at the new website at steelcurtainnetwork.com, for those of you that might not know where we are, it doesn't work the same as the old place where I can't edit your article as you're writing it. So you write the first half, I edit it at halftime, then you write the second half, I edit it at the end of the game, all that good stuff. And I'm reading the first half, and other than saying, all right, there was one thing, and you went back and clarified that really good. I don't know why I didn't see that. But
you were correct to ask, though, because when I reread, I was like, oh, that word's wrong.
Yeah.
You take that word out and replace it with this phrase, and it will make much more
sense. And I don't want to necessarily put words in your mouth, because I want what you or your reaction to be what's going on. But yeah, there was not a lot to be happy with at halftime. And honestly, there wasn't that much more to be happy with at the end of the third quarter. This was just a game where the Steelers hung around. Baltimore kept not taking advantage of their chances to put them away. And the Steelers hung around, and they find a way to get it done against the Ravens, which is what we're going to talk about tonight, getting it done against the Ravens. So now that you've had your time to dwell on things, I know we'll get your Worthless 2 Cents article tomorrow. Make sure you don't miss that. That's a great one. What are your thoughts? What are you feeling? What's going on, big bro?
Let me put it this way. It's the cool thing is this. The cool part is that somehow, even when they're not playing good football, the Steelers were able to steal a victory.
Yeah.
You need a couple of those during the year. The issue at the beginning of the year last year is we had a couple of those games where, even though they weren't playing great, the Steelers could have stolen victories, and they didn't.
Yeah.
That was and that was different. So, they were given an opportunity to, steal one at the end of the game, and they took advantage and did. Now, you might say steal one, but let me just say this. The Steelers defense was phenomenal in the second half of that game.
Yeah, I don't think people are realizing that so much. I think that's kind of getting forgotten, that the Steelers, the defense. I mean, even Jeff Hartman, if you listen to Monday's Let's Ride, which we got a lot of the ride or die crew here, I myself being one of them, he was saying, winners and losers. He's like, the third down defense in the first half, and they were giving up these long third down conversions, which they were on the drive that was leading up to the end of the half. They gave up, I think, a 3rd and 18 and a 3rd and 11. But he's like, and they gave up these third downs in the first half and some in the second half. Jeff, you're mistaken there. I know it might have felt like it, because some of the ones at the very end of the first half might have felt like they were at the beginning of the second half. But the Steelers did not give up a single third or fourth down conversion in the second half. The Ravens were 0 for 6 on third down and 0 for 1 on fourth down in the second half. That's a big stat. That's a big stat to not let them convert a single third down.
And the Steelers defense of the second half turned the Ravens offense into the Steelers offense of the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, they did. They basically just, as mad as I was about the Steelers offense in the first half, the Steelers defense in the second half basically said, yeah, we can play that game too, and turned the Ravens offense into nothing.
91 yards.
Yeah.
91 yards. 25 rushing yards in the second half. When the Ravens had the lead. The Ravens had the lead until the fourth quarter. And they're the number 3 running offense in the NFL. Well, at least they were going into the game. We'll see how that finishes up. I haven't looked at the numbers yet now that all the games are done. But with that, I mean, they only ran it for 25 yards, only 8 rushing attempts. And some people might be like, well, why'd they only run the ball 8 times? Well,
when you can't make first downs, you don't get that many plays.
The Steelers were putting them in different positions. Yeah. So they shut them out on the scoreboard in the second half. They shut them out on third down conversions in the second half. And I threw in the fourth down conversion as well, although that was the final play. Ravens were 0 for 2 fourth down conversions in the game. I'm going to ask – I thought that was obvious when it happened, what happened with Harbaugh at the end and the Ravens at the end of the first half. People are like, oh, yeah, that's what he said afterwards, after the game. He explained it. I'm like, I explained it when it happened. I put that on Twitter. I'm like, they weren't supposed to snap the ball there. They were running the clock down because they didn't leave 20 seconds on the clock for the Steelers. They're running the clock down. And if the Steelers, I don't even think they were trying to draw them off nearly as much. But when you get to the line and do it, rather than just ho hum in the huddle, if the reason you do it at the line is it makes it think you make the team think you're attacking, so that way they don't call a timeout to save time. So I get that strategy. People are like, oh, that was such a bonehead. Honestly, they did what you're supposed to do there. The only thing that was wrong was that the center snapped the ball. So for those, blaming Harbaugh for that one, that's really, to me, he did what he should have done there. You go to the line and act like you're running a play so the Steelers don't want to call timeout and save time for you because you're going to try to convert on fourth down. But if you just wait in the huddle the whole time, the Steelers might say, oh, they're just wasting time to kick the field goal. We're going to call timeout and give ourselves 20 seconds. Now, if you've been paying attention to Mike Tomlin in 2023, they haven't been trying to do anything at the end of the first half if it's less than 30 seconds. So that really didn't matter.
The first half when you haven't even put up 100 yards.
Yeah. So they thought he came, and he didn't come across. It's not like it was a missed call or anything. He didn't come up. He came up to the line and really hard and stopped. Honestly, if you think about it, I would love to hear. Maybe he did, and I just didn't hear it. I would love to hear it because it was Quan Alexander. I'm fairly certain that it was Quan Alexander that came up to the line. You know how the offense comes up and tries to get the defense to jump? Was he coming up like he was going to jump to try to get them to snap the ball? I don't know if he was trying to do that or not, but if he was, it was brilliant. Yeah. I mean, false start would have been like, it's a false start, moving back 5 yards. Tucker would have hit the field goal. But to make them snap the ball on fourth down when you didn't come across, that was big.
Here's the mistake.
Yeah.
By Harbaugh. Okay. Because I look at it at what happened there was a coaching mistake. Okay. And it's a coaching mistake that could probably go back to early training camp. Your team needs to be taught in that situation. Your center needs to be taught in that situation. We're not taking any chance. We're not doing anything like that. You don't snap the ball. Mm-hmm. If they come across and make contact and get a penalty, fine. Otherwise, we are sticking to our strategy.
Yeah.
Don't try to make something out thinking, oh, they came across. What he did at that point when he snapped the ball was he put the call into the officials' hands.
Yeah.
Don't put the call in the officials'
They
hands.
weren't calling anything all game anyway. You know they're not going to call that.
Right. That's actually not smart play to put it into the officials' hands there.
Or as Tyler W. said, they tricked their own treats. I like that one, Tyler. Yeah. So when that happened, people get an explanation after the game. I'm like, I thought that was obvious. You could tell by Harbaugh's reaction. You could tell by, I mean,
Lamar was looking, so he was able to adjust. But if you look at the way he adjusted to catch that snap, you knew he wasn't ready for it.
I wonder if he was mic'd up for the game, because I wonder what expletive he dropped whenever the ball comes at him, because he didn't know what the receivers were going to do. The receivers didn't. Now, they might have something built in that, hey, this is what you'll do if we snap it or something happens, goes wrong in this. Do this. Maybe they have that. You know, as we say, it's like your fire play
on
the extra point. Yeah.
Or extra point.
Something like that. Oh, if there's a snap when there shouldn't be a snap and we don't really have a play called, do this. Yeah. So that was a really nice way to end the half. Steelers is something. I tried to look this up and I could not find anywhere to actually get this stat. It's not very often a team has 5 kneel downs in a game. Because they had one at the end of the first half, 3 on one drive, and then 1 more at the end, which we'll get to we'll get to the other stuff. But before we get into the whole thing, this getting it done against the Ravens, it's more than just the game. Because I kind of want to highlight some of the Steelers' young players. First and second year guys. What do they say when people, join the Pittsburgh Steelers or they're young players of the Pittsburgh Steelers? AFC North football, yeah, but right in recent years, it's been the Ravens. The Browns haven't been good enough. The Bengals have been so up and down over the last decade that it's really about the Ravens are really the only other team in the AFC.
And there went Dave. And I have no clue where he was going with that thought, so I will not be picking that thought back up. Exactly where he was, but I do know where he was going. And that was, there he's back. And he's back.
I wasn't even touching my computer or my mouse or anything, and I disappeared. I don't know what happened. But I'm back.
No, that's an awful lot to disappear. But.
Yeah, that's a lot of disappearing.
You were talking about the young players on the
Steelers. The young players. And about it being the Ravens. That's really, and Coach Tomlin used this one. This is kind of where you get anointed as being a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Think about it. Kenny Pickett had some nice plays and nice wins and things at the end of the 2022 season. But would it have really been as much if one of those come from behind, win it at the end, wasn't against the Ravens? When a young player is doing something and doing a nice job, what is it that you sometimes might hear? Well, they're really getting it done. But if you can get it done against the Ravens, that's a whole different story. That's kind of like a measuring stick within the locker room and everything there. And I tell you, I think the Steelers had a lot of young players who got it done against the Ravens. Okay.
Yes, they did.
Well, before we get to the rookies, okay, Kenny Pickett wasn't that strong throughout the game, came through when he needed to. Once again, getting it done in the final 2 minutes against the Ravens. But more important, George Pickens. That was getting
George
it done.
Pickens things.
Yeah, doing George Pickens things. That's getting it done against the Ravens. I got to look it up. I bet the over on his yards for the season, so I should be getting close to that already, and we're only in week 5. It was like 400 and some yards for the season was the over-under for him. Maybe it was 600. I can't remember. But bottom line is, if he stays healthy, he should be able to handle that one. So you got these. So George Pickens right there, that's already a guy. Whether, even though he was fine last year, this was his first time being the number one receiver on the field. Now, Deontay Johnson should hopefully be back very soon. Hopefully the next game, according to him, he will be. But George Pickens went out there as the number one receiver for the Steelers in this game, and he got it done against the Ravens.
Yep.
Broderick Jones got his first NFL start. And I was, watching him throughout the game. He got it done against the Ravens. He did so much better than I anticipated. I thought he would do well and run, struggle at times. There was one time I thought, I thought he was going to get beat on a I think it was a fake inside go back. I can't remember. I have to go back and watch it specifically. But it looked like he was going to get beat. And then he didn't. He recovered and had a nice block. I thought he had a really nice, to me, that was the best game of an offensive tackle for a member of the Steelers this year. What did you think? I thought he got it done against the Ravens. What did you think of Broderick Jones?
I did as well. Nothing flashy, nothing splashy. Just took his lunch pail and went to work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yep. So sorry, I looked at when I lost my feed, I went away from the live chat and everything. So I'm coming back. Jennifer, sad to hear those things about you. We're your Steelers family's here with you. Let's get back to another rookie. Let's go, Joey Porter Jr.
Okay.
I'm trying to think at what point of the game it was that he finally came on and played every snap. Was it at the end of the third quarter, or was it in the fourth quarter? Was it after Renegade?
I'm not
sure where. Maybe someone can help us out.
Yes, he was in there, I think, every play after Renegade, but it might have started before then. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so he comes on, and it's like, all right, we got to get him out there. And the other corners were not having the best game, just to put it lightly. I felt that the secondary and the pass rush were not in sync together. It felt like, the pass rush would force a quick throw, but the secondary was playing off their guys. Or the pass rush was trying to contain Lamar, and the secondary was playing a soft zone to just let guys run open. It didn't seem like the two were matched up to complement each other. But then after Joey Porter Jr. went in, I don't know that it was him, the scheme, or just a bunch of different things, or the whole idea of, hey, we're doing something different.
It was a lot better. It was a lot better in the second half, period.
Yeah.
Because you got to think Steelers gave up 60-something yards passing in the second half, was it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was something. Now, of course, they were aided by some drops, but you know what? That's going to happen. TJ Watt punching him in the throat. In the face. Yeah. I don't think that's the play he hurt his finger. I guess you heard about that. Yes. I mean, Jeff was right. I think that was on Let's Ride as well. He's like, TJ with the fingers. Like, I don't know if he dislocated, just had to pop it in or something. Yeah, that's what he did.
Yeah, and that was, oh man, I'm trying to remember. No, I know it wasn't that play. I saw him come off the field. He only came off for like 1 or 2 snaps in the middle of a series. He was shaking his arm. I thought, did he get it? I thought maybe he'd hit his funny bone the way he was shaking his arm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then actually when I heard Jeff in the post-game show or whatever saying, maybe he dislocated his finger or something, I was just like, that could be as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, we I don't think we finished up on Joey Porter Jr., but
no.
But some people are like, well, that ball was kind of thrown right to him on the interception. Do you know what that ball was anticipating? The ball was anticipating that the rookie wasn't going to turn around and make the play. You're going to sneak it by him, and OBJ is going to pull it in.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen. He did what he needed to do. And so far, when teams have tried to go after him, it hasn't worked. Now, hopefully, he'll get a lot larger sample size moving forward.
All right. So since we're talking young players, and we just talked about, PZ Jr. and that, I'm going to bring up because it actually is one of my points on my worthless 2 cents tomorrow.
Okay.
And I think this is the time for me to bring it up, would be tight end Rodney Williams. Okay.
Well, because, they had 2 rookie tight ends out there. Okay.
I'm going to talk about Rodney Williams. Okay. And the impact he had playing special teams. Now,
he had great special team scores in the preseason, even.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I knew this guy had just hustle and heart from the day we were at training camp. Because the day we were there was the day he falling down caught a double deflected pass for a touchdown.
Yes, I remember that.
Okay. And I was just like, that guy's just trying to concentrate and give it everything he's got. Well, then we see him. I mean, did you realize how close that was for him recovering that for a touchdown on the block punt?
It was extremely close.
Like it was.
But, I mean, they couldn't overturn it. There wasn't.
No, there was no way you're going to overturn it. His elbows did hit in the white out of bounds by an inch or 2. Okay.
I mean, I saw a still shot of both elbows on the green, but it was as his arms were coming down. It wasn't really
correct.
If you watch it while it was moving, there's no way you could say that was, yeah.
Well, and not just that, they kind of come down the green, but he didn't have full possession of the ball yet either at that point. Trust me, I went back and looked at this one a lot. Part of the reason I was looking at it was when Killebrew blocked that punt, did you think anybody had a chance to even come anywhere close to recovering that for a touchdown before it went out of the end zone?
The ball did one of those crazy things that it does when it's blocked or something where it just sits and spins there or something.
Yeah.
But it looked like it was rocketing through the back.
Correct. And I was hoping that it would check up. It didn't check up. Rodney Williams still almost got that ball and recovered it for a touchdown. Just great hustle. Yeah. Okay. But if you thought that was great hustle, then you need to look at the play he made that, in my opinion,
helped save the game.
Won the game for the Steelers. It gave the Steelers the chance to
Gave
win.
them a chance.
The fumble by Gunnar O. Go back and look at that a couple times, okay? Yeah. Who was that? Seymour for the Ravens that recovers it?
Nameless Greyface, yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I know that is because I was trying to look up and find a quick clip of it today, and his name was on there. There's him and 2 other Ravens, which actually then turned into a third coming from the very far right of the screen for the Ravens. And it was Rodney Williams. He totally fought off the block of one Raven and made the play to keep that from being a touchdown.
Yeah.
And we know what happened 3 plays later.
Yes. I mean, I thought that gave them a chance at a 4-point swing because I thought the field goal was a given. The question is that gave the defense a chance to keep them out of the touchdown zone. And I didn't imagine that there would be a takeaway.
Right. And then it turned into a takeaway, to which when that happened, then it's like, well, my gosh, they could have a chance to actually win this game.
Yeah.
And eventually they do.
I was like, but even at that point, you're like, can the offense do enough to actually get down there? Could they do enough to get into range and get down there? I mean, it was a 3rd and long, wasn't it? I'm like, are they seriously going to go 3 and out after that interception? And it was to Allen Robinson, correct, on that one?
Yes, that one was out. What are you talking about? They went to 3rd down and long. twice in a row.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if the other one was as long. That it was. Hold on, I'll check. It was 3rd and 9, and they passed to Robinson for 10 yards, and then it was 3rd and 4, is what it was on the deep pass to Pickens. Because I was just not seriously. I'm pretty sure I was typing up a tweet that was saying this offense can't do anything to help out their defense, and I was just about to hit send. And they complete that long pass down right at the red line that they had on TV that said it was at Boswell's range. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I talked about this in the post-game show. I had no doubt that if they got Boswell a kick, he was going to nail
it. So you actually think about it. So the touchdown pass was actually on 2nd down. But
so I'm talking about the other one. Yeah.
But the Steelers went 5 of 16 on 3rd downs in the game.
Mm-hmm.
2 of the 5 were on the drive where they scored the touchdown.
Yeah. Which this is falling back into a pretty bad pattern that we had in 2022 of the offense basically doing nothing outside of 1 or 2 drives.
Yep.
And pretty much they did nothing outside of that touchdown drive. I mean, here, let me see if I can find the chart for the charts for the Steelers for the game.
I've got everything right here. I can read them off to you.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, my goodness.
Here were the Steelers' drives. Now,
Okay.
First drive, 16 yards and a punt. 2nd drive, 4 yards and a punt. 3rd drive, 43 yards and a punt.
That was one of those where Kenny Pickett took a sack and it took him out of field goal range.
It took him out of field goal range, correct.
Yep.
26 yards and a field goal. And then a kneel down at the end of the first half. Okay, that was your first half. Second half, 9 yards and a punt. 27 yards and a punt.
Oh, that was another one or was it that one or the next one? It was the next. It was the next
40 one. It was 36 yards. I'm sorry, 43 yards and a punt.
But on the chart, here's what's sad. There's 3 different 3rd down plays where the Steelers have negatives. No, I'm pretty sure it was the 3 sacks. Every single one of them came on 3rd down before they had to punt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
Then it was 49 yards and a field goal. That's what took them to the 10-8 score.
Mm-hmm.
Then the 80 yards for the touchdown.
Yep.
Followed by 6 yards and a field goal.
I mean, wait, minus 6 yards.
Yes, minus 6
minus 6 yards and a field goal.
And a field goal, yes.
Yeah.
And then the kneel down for -1 at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So really, drives of more than 50 yards, 1. And then a couple that were close. Well, one that was 49 and then a couple in the 40s.
Yeah.
But that's what's going on when you can't convert 3rd down, especially when you're an offense that sorry. Ready? Well, our offense isn't really designed to pick up first downs in less than 3 plays.
Yeah. Yeah. I went into that on the preview about the whole thing. I talked about that was Canada tried to deny it, but it was true due to the transitive property. Anyway, that's the way that's the way I explained that Thursday night. If you didn't catch that, go back and catch it.
Due to the transitive property of picking things up, then
yeah. Well, no. I'll give you the recap. It was the whole notion of, would anyone argue that Canada or plenty of other people have said his offense is built on running the football and play action? Sure. Then if he says, well, they said, why didn't you do that more in week 1? Well, we couldn't do that because we were so far behind. You can't really do that when you're that far behind. Then guess what the conclusion is? If that's what your offense is built on, and you can't do that when you're behind, then your offense isn't built on being behind. Anyway, but the Steelers kept it close. I mean, but once again, should the defense continue to have to? I mean, how many bad failures of a drive did you have there with the Steelers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 almost worthless drives with one field goal in there before they finally moved it down, got a field goal. The next drive moved it and got the touchdown. That's a lot of times having to just not come through. So the offense, I think we'll get to it. Rich, let's go ahead and take our break. Want to come back? Yep. I still want to talk about a couple more people getting it done against the Ravens. We'll go a little bit more into this game. We don't have to worry about rushing ahead to the next game because there isn't one this week. So we can spend our time really enjoying talking about this victory over the Ravens. So if you're with us here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, we're not going anywhere. If you're with us on the audio side, stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, Steelers fans, we are back and better than ever, Big Bro. Wouldn't you say? You're breathing it in great. This was a good one. This was. I
don't know about great, but I am breathing it in.
Hey, a win over the Ravens is always going to be a good thing. Like today, I was at the grocery store. I had someone, I'm decked out, Steelers hat, Steelers shirt, Steelers shorts. It's what I'm typically wearing. And I had someone said, he's like, good game Sunday. You got it against my team because I live in Maryland. So it was a Ravens fan talking to me. And I said, yeah, I said it wasn't pretty, but they managed to scrape out a win. And he's like, who cares if it's pretty? You got to win. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
And that's from a Ravens fan. So come on, Steelers fans.
Believe it or not, that's how
you can't learn from it, but you got to also enjoy it.
Yeah, and I will say this, and I don't know if you could tell in the way kind of my knee-jerk reaction, it was almost shock, like, wow, we shouldn't have won this game.
No.
And we did anyway.
And if you listen to me on the preview Thursday, and Jeff put that clip out on Twitter as a little short, that's, I picked the Ravens to win. Or not the Ravens, I picked the Steelers to beat the Ravens. Shockingly. Did you know that? It was the whole notion of the Steelers bouncing back like crazy when they get blown out. That and the notion it's AFC North football, anything goes. So that's why I'm like, this is the kind of game that the Steelers will find a way to win. I kind of have a feeling with this team early in the season. Of course, this will eventually get debunked because there'll be a game in there where it doesn't happen. But right now, you kind of got the feeling if the game's going to be close, the Steelers are going to find a way to pull it out. The games that they're going to lose, so far, the Steelers lost 2 games. They got blown out in both games. And they were on the verge of making that game close, the second one, in the third quarter when things fell apart. So, yeah. There were some other people who got it done against the Ravens. I wish I could say, you said about Rodney Williams, I wish I could say Darnell Washington. He did when it came to, I thought he did a nice job blocking. He didn't get the best scores, but I thought he did fine. There was a couple plays he did really good on. I just wish that they would incorporate him a little bit more into the passing game. His 2 targets was one that he had was terribly interfered with. I mean, not even close. And they didn't throw the flag because they didn't do that all game. And then the other one wasn't even a catchable ball.
Yeah.
I feel like there's more that's going to be growing there. Sorry, I'm just watching this, the replay of this Sidney Crosby goal. Can't help myself. Oh man, look at that. Right through the defender's 5-hole. Yes.
Oh, get that man
here
and get his dog 1-2.
Yeah. So 2-0 Penguins, by the way, in their season opener. I know not everyone's here's Penguins fans, but come on, people, you should be. So what was I talking about? I got distracted by Sidney Crosby. Oh, Darnell Washington. I am hoping that he is one. They were reviewing this, so I got to see if it stands. Because Chicago's challenging.
Are you here with us, or you want to go watch hockey?
I'm sorry.
With us, keep the show going.
Here we go. I'm hoping that as the season goes on, he'll find himself getting more involved in the offense. That's all I can say. There's also another one, Rich. How do you think Keanu Benton was getting it done against the Ravens?
I thought Keanu Benton was getting it done against the Ravens.
Nah.
Yeah.
I got yelled at in the live chat because someone's recording the Pens game. I thought that Keanu Benton was getting it. I think he's been getting it done. I think he
has been getting it done. Honestly, when you look at you got to think of the young guys. We're all at different positions, and we're asking them to come in. And as they get going, it's all about who can get their complete game, their complete repertoire together to get more time. Benton has been leading that charge. He has been, what I want to say, more ready to throw everything got all his repertoire of moves together to be thrown at teams. He's done that faster. He's gotten that together early.
Because he's had to, yeah.
Yes, correct. Part of it was he's kind of been forced into getting some more snaps because of Cam Hayward being injured, but boy, he's made the most of it.
Yeah, and although because Jeff kept asking me, when can Cam come back? I'm like, he can come back now. I don't think he's ready to come back now, but there's a difference between can and able. So anytime Cam Hayward is healthy, he can come back because it's been the four games that he's missed. Same with Deontay, same with Anthony McFarland. But I think Cam's going to be a little bit longer. And even Leal being out, I'll be honest with you, after that performance, I think Benton's got to be ahead of Leal. So, yeah.
You're going to annoy me to no end.
I'm waiting for this call.
You are going to annoy me to no end.
I'm waiting for this call. I think the call's good. I don't know.
So
now one rookie. There was two other rookies that played in this game. Nick Herbig did not have much of an impact. He actually got hurt early on special teams. He did come back in, but it wasn't that he was called on to do much. And Spencer Anderson, he also got in for one snap. I'm going to ask you about this snap. So those aren't guys that you can say they got the job done against Ravens. So I'm going to ask you about this. Spencer Anderson comes in for one snap. That was the penalty, quote unquote, on Chooks that wasn't on Chooks. That was the penalty that caused the clock to stop and when the Steelers were kicking the field goal. Let's talk about this, Rich. You ready to break this down? Because we like to talk about moments of the game. So I still can't believe TJ Watt didn't drag everyone to the end zone. I thought he was not going to be denied. But I think it was more of a focus on don't fumble the ball, don't fumble the ball. Don't be a gunner, don't be a gunner. I guess maybe we should say.
I was a little surprised that he didn't go ahead because, it was Lamar Jackson kind of harassing him there at first. I was wanting him to just pancake.
It's like stiff arm or something. Punch him in the throat, right?
I wanted him to go all Vanimal on Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. So, but it was it Beckham or someone else or running? Someone else was running in there too. Is when that happened. But the Steelers get the ball. They're down there, and they go to take a knee. And I tweeted something like this. I'm like, what are they doing? They can't. There's too much time. The Ravens still had 2 timeouts. They could run it down low. But I'm like, you're not even going to just say, run it up. They were just saying, we are fine getting the 3 points and being up 7. Right there, I'm instantly thinking in my mind, the Ravens get this ball back and score a touchdown. They're going for 2. 7 points wasn't good. Going up to be 7 wasn't good enough. If it was going to 8, I'd have been okay. If it was going to 9, I'd be even better. But I did not like the idea of doing that.
Run the ball because I don't.
You watched the Miami.
Football, but I did
you saw the highlights from the Miami game, right?
That's right. So
Miami Hurricanes.
it worked, and I was fine with it until the penalty.
Yeah.
So.
Now the penalty, like some people said, oh well, Chuk's got to. No, they had a lot of people, but they all went to that left side. My question is this: if you're taking a knee, and Spencer Anderson comes in the game, reports is eligible to have an extra lineman on third down, taking a knee. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing something different with your formation of taking a knee on third down versus first or second? Now, it could have been because they wanted more protection on one side of the line because Kenny was going to try to waste as much time as possible and yet get it on the correct hash that Boswell wanted. But to me, you overthought it by trying to come out in a different formation.
Almost Wayne Harbed it.
Almost Wayne Harbed it. You overthought it to then go out there and do that because the only thing that was going to give the Ravens the ball back with more than 15 seconds left in the game was a penalty on the play. That was all.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. Yep. And they're zooming in on Chukwuefor. I'm like it's his fault. No, the guy that was supposed to be next to him wasn't there.
Right. It's the guy, They say, oh, penalty number 76 wasn't covered on the end of the line of scrimmage. Well, it's not his fault.
That's not his fault.
Because he can't cover himself.
Yeah.
It's somebody else's fault for not being there.
Yeah. So that I didn't like the idea of just taking a knee to get the field goal. That still goes to show how little faith the Steelers have in their offense. It feels just like the end of the first half when you could call a timeout, give yourself 40 seconds, but instead you let it run down some, and then you just take a knee when it's all said and done. That's what it felt like. They're like, you know what? We're in field goal range. We don't want to do anything to screw up the 3 points. We're just going to take the 3 points. If Calais Campbell was still on the Ravens, we would have done it. Because you know what he did last year, the Steelers, blocking the field goal. So right. I had no doubt that Boz was going to knock it through. But
although that
whole time thing, man.
Right. You look at it, in the end, it ends up, and I don't think it's, you can say it's kind of the coach, but it's the players too. It was, to me, I look at that as that was a team clock mismanagement at the end.
Yeah, and my biggest question is, why did you have to change your personnel? You had just taken a knee twice, and then you're going to bring in a 7th round rookie for his very first snap. Offensive. I don't even know that he's been on special teams at all, but I know it was his first offensive snap of his NFL career. I don't know if he was supposed to be over next to Chukes. I don't know if it was supposed to be, I'm not sure. But bottom line is they were all on the other side.
Yep. Watch that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yep. Here's something. Sheriff Richard says, Brad Wing did a good job, but I'm glad Harvin is back. How do we know Harvin's back?
Because they cut Wing off the practice.
You know what the Steelers did? They did right by him. They would not have had to have released Brad Wing until right before the Steelers' Week 7 game. But if you know that Harvin's going to be good, why not give the guy the opportunity to go catch him with the other team? Now, the only other thing they could have done was kept him through this week, and he would have got another practice squad paycheck because they still, whoever's on the practice squad and the 53 get paid during the bye week. I mean, that's about the only thing they could have done. But at the same time, if he's going to have an opportunity, I would love to see Brad Wing land on another practice squad or something of where he could get another shot. But I'm also ready for some big press.
His punting, I would call it this. It was not fantastic. It was serviceable.
It was serviceable. That's right. Which was better than his punt that I witnessed in person against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers back in 2014.
Correct.
So, because I still chalk that up to how do you lose a game on a punt when there's hardly any time left on the clock and you shank it and give them hardly any distance to go to score to win the game. So, yeah, that was so that was one thing. So we're on the same page with them with the field goal, but the way the defense was playing, I'm really glad that they finished it off. That they just came out and finished it off.
Exactly, Steel Dog. I almost said it exactly like you did. Sir, I was going to say it was serviceable and consistent, but that's why it was serviceable. It was not fantastic. It was not great distance. Like, really, every punt was 42 to 45 yards.
Yeah.
That was win.
Yeah.
Okay. No boomers. No shanks. Consistent punting.
Yeah.
Which is why I'd like to see him catch on and get another shot.
Yeah.
So
just think, years from now, he'll be the answer to the trivia question of what player punted in 2 different seasons for the Pittsburgh Steelers 9 years apart.
Yeah.
So in 20 years, when someone has that trivia question, hopefully you remember this.
I would say write it down, Bad. This will be a trivia question in 20 years from Dave on the preview.
Yep. By that time, will Bad even remember his own name? So
no, that's bad.
I know. That is bad. So I'm going to say 20 years is a long time, man. The quote-unquote audible. Some people were talking about it in the live chat, so might as well bring it up.
Only one thing would have made it better.
What's that?
Instead of Randy, if it would have been Dilly.
I mean, it wasn't exactly an audible. Kenny Pickett described it today. You know, both Ramon Foster, Trey Essex put stuff out there about that's a protection call.
Correct.
Now, word on the inside was that Kenny wasn't even supposed to be changing protections. That's how little Matt Canada was letting him do. But apparently that's something they started to work on this past week. Additionally, they specifically had checking to that play because they knew that's something the Ravens would do. If they give you this look, check to this play. So, yes, did he check to the play? He did. Was it because his offensive coordinator during the week told him if they do this, check to that? Yeah. Now,
was the offensive coordinator happy about it?
Situation where you want to do it right there, where you're right on the cusp of field goal. Just think if that's an interception. Oh my goodness, how heads would have rolled. But it wasn't. It was a great throw, and it was a good call. And I like it that it was on second down, because if it's not there, you throw it too far, and you've got one more play to get a little bit closer for the field goal.
Yep.
So I liked it that it was on second down. It was the right scenario. And even though, so let's just say this, it was part of the offense to put that play in there to say, oh, he won against Canada. I just don't know if they were if the coordinator would have been happy of him doing it at that moment. So, but it was something they put in, so they did it. And maybe that just goes to show that when you can actually run a play that you can decide to do based on the defense, that's basically when you have a play that you can beat the defense after you see what it is, that's what it takes in the NFL. If you're going to go out there and you're just going to be running a play and assuming it's going to work, you've got to do it based on what the defense actually lines up in. So maybe that's a step in the right direction, but I don't. And then people were like, Bad was talking about, he was Canada's, it's because he's dead inside. That's why he wasn't celebrating. I'm like, people forget something. KT brought this up a little bit this morning on the Here We Go Steelers show. They were going for 2. He's got to come up with a play. I can say this from a coach, even though when I was the head coach, I was also the offensive coordinator. I could get excited, but at the same time, if I get too excited and I don't get the play out there for my guys, they're not, you can't take the delay game. You can't, you don't want to call a timeout, let them set up their defense, anything like that. So
Right. Except my only thing against that is I would imagine as a team, you've got what I call a core of probably 5 or 6 2-point conversion plays. Now you probably have more than that, but you've got that 5 or 6 that are kind of your bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously, how long does it take you to figure out which one of those you want to run?
Yeah.
Here's the other thing, though, in seeing his reaction or lack thereof. I wish that we'd have gotten about 5 more seconds in the clip.
Yeah.
Something happens at the very end where they cut away.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what it was?
I don't know.
In the last, I don't even know if it's a full second of the clip. You see Matt Canada start to move, okay? But before you see Matt Canada start to move, somebody kicked his chair. Go look at it.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to go back and check that.
It's like somebody kicked his chair like, come on, Matt, get with it. Or, come on, that was good. Or something like that. And then you see him start to move.
There's so much more and little ins and outs and subtleties that we don't know that, man, I wish we did. Because for all we know, that play could have been Matt Canada's hard work and preparation and making sure he put this in for Kenny Pickett. It could have been his shining moment. Also, for all we know, that could have been the play that they put in spite of Matt Canada during the week, and that was a spit in his face. We don't know. We don't know. We really don't. It could be either way. I really wish that we did. I really
even harder or even more to speculate on is that little piece of footage from the booth where it's just, you saw everybody as the play went, you saw guys start to raise up and look, and you saw Matt at first kind of, you saw his chin kind of do this. And then as everybody starts to react and celebrate, he just comes back down to looking straight ahead stoic.
Yeah.
I was just like,
either that. It's funny because they said we worked on that this week. Who put it in this week? Was it Canada? Was it something they specifically worked on their own on the side? Was it something Coach Tomlin came in and said, hey, if we get this look, this is what I want? We don't know. We don't know.
Well,
we don't know.
Wasn't even Matt Canada put it in, but was told to.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say Tomlin said, hey, this is what I want to do when they do this.
Yeah, they do this. You get this ready. But I want to work on this in case we get this look.
Yeah. But Kerry says it right. Whatevs. Matt Canada is not an NFL level OC. Full stop. Yeah.
He's not.
I mean, just too many times. Hold on. I thought I clicked off of that, but it skipped ahead of me. Too many times I looked at that and it felt like the 4th and 1 play. It's like, what are these receiving combinations? Now, I was an offensive line coach. I was more about the run game. And my last year coaching, we didn't have an offensive line that could block very well. We ran shotgun spread quick pass. It's what we did. And I was and I would work with my quarterback and we would just sit and talk. And we would just come up with route combinations. All right. So what would you want to see here? What, you want this, and we just came up with it because he had the little armband. I learned that the hard way that season. I could not trust my wide receivers to get I didn't have to do it the year before to actually get the right play that I say to them said to the quarterback. I would say it. And when they got there, it was something, not what I said. So that's why I'm like, all right, I'm coming up with the play sheet. Don't tell him to run number 42. He looks there, number 42, boom, got it. So, but that's not my main thing is figuring out the passing game, trying to figure out what good route combinations you could run. But my goodness, I feel like I could have done better than some of the stuff they had. Can they catch the ball on the run? Can they come up with a pass that Kenny hit someone on the run? I mean, he did it with Pickens maybe twice in the game. And if you want to call the dump off pass to Jaylen Warren going forward on the run, You can. I mean, when it's behind the line of scrimmage, to me, that's about a yak. That's all about yak. But otherwise, it's back shoulder throws on the sidelines, comeback routes, things like that. I'm like, is that all they trust Kennedy to do, or is that all they can come up with? Something just isn't right with those combinations. So that's why I really wish I knew what was going on with that touchdown play. If that was, we're going to do this. If that was Canada's going to do it, they did it in spite of him. I don't know. And some people are like, that was a play that saved his job. I'm like, I don't know that changed anything.
You know what they say at the end of the Tootsie Pop commercial, right?
The world may never
know.
Yeah. So interesting. But now I know we've got to get to our final question. We're going to get to it real quick once we think of one.
I have one. I got one.
Okay, good.
Be in the middle of the show.
You're going to have it. But my thing is, now imagine Deontay Johnson comes back. Early in this game, it was like a 3rd and 6, and Pickett and Pickens were not on the same page in the Steelers' spot. I don't think it was the first drive. I think it might have been the second drive. And that's when I put out there, Steeler fans now should realize how much they miss Deontay Johnson. That's a down and distance that has Deontay Johnson written all over it.
Yeah.
You add him into that mix. And now defenders have to be like, do we really want to leave Pickens 1-on-1? Or do we want to make sure we shut down the guy that always finds a way to get open? I said it when he got hurt. When he comes back, I said, this could be a blessing in disguise, not for now, but for when he comes back, that if these receivers can do some things while he's gone. Now, it's not like they've done great things, but you have seen an emergence from George Pickens and the rest of the NFL has to take notice of it. But now you got 2 guys. Are you going to double team 2 guys? So that's going to be really interesting.
Yep.
So anything else you want to say before we get to this last question?
No, and I've got it ready to go. I'm going to ask it of you, and then I'm going to answer it as well.
Okay.
All right. So here's the final question for the evening. Hold on to your answers.
In the live
chat.
Wait till I'll type it in. Hit enter.
No, I've got it typed and ready to go.
Oh, so Rich will type it in and hit enter.
Yep,
man, I get the night off. This is great.
That's right. So.
Oh wait, but I got to answer the question. Okay, here we go.
Correct, Dave. What will you do on Sunday, since there's no Steelers football?
What will I do on Sunday with no Steelers football? 5 words or less.
Yep.
Okay, we're going with 5 words or less. What am I doing Sunday with no Steelers football? Okay. I'm going to say what's 2 different things. Red Zone and DraftKings. Nice. I will sit there and I will actually put some small wagers on the game throughout. Hey, I won. I kind of messed it up this week. I thought I did the money line on its own, and then I thought I did against the spread and the over-under as a separate one. Well, I missed the over-under. I don't know why I said over. I should have said under, only because my score was 24-23. But so therefore, I didn't get my parlay, but I did get my more expensive bet of the Steelers winning. So I'll probably do a few of those things. I'll sit back and watch some other football, and if I fall asleep, it doesn't matter. How about you, Rich? Did BF Bud already get it right for you?
There's a whole bunch of folks that have already put it out there, which is fun.
But we're not going to bring any of these up because we told you.
Yeah, I was going to say mine a little different than he did, and that is I'm going to sit in a tree.
You're going to sit in a tree. All right, put her out there, Rich, for him to answer.
All right, here we go. So, what will you do on Sunday with no Steeler football?
All right, I don't do this part though. Yeah. So if you guys put it in there beforehand, that you broke the rules.
There you
go. Afton, Watch other football.
Watch other football.
Okay. George Rice, working, checking scores. He said technically his second job and checking scores. Ryan Brown says, hope the North playing loses. Remember, the Ravens, who, if they win, technically they take back the AFC North because right now it's just the tiebreakers. The Steelers have the same record. They played 9:30 across the pond.
Yeah.
So that'll be an interesting. I like this one. Steelers Pittsburgh. Sleep, sleep, and more sleep. Steeler Chick 46. Mow my lawn and nap. Steel Dog 88 goes with the alliteration of
That's right.
I didn't click. The alliteration of brewing a batch of beer. Tyler W says wedding planning. There you go.
At least it was wedding planning and not wedding crashing.
No, well, what I was going to say is, no, a true Steelers fan, that would be their wedding weekend. You plan it or the bye week.
Yeah, do it during the
Then
bye week when it's not going to interfere with watching any Steelers.
Honeymoon to California and watch them play the Rams at the end of the honeymoon. Sorry, no, that's good, Tyler. Let's see. John Walter says, play catch with my son. That's a great answer. I am very jealous because my shoulders don't allow me to do that anymore. Pinot Bordeaux. Or I don't know if it's Bordeaux or Bordoni. Well, who knows? It says working. Carrie says watching other games. I feel like I can just kind of relax and enjoy watching the games when it's not the Steelers. And I can flip channels, red zone. I got Sunday ticket. I could do the box thing if I want to, where they show multiple games at once, all kinds of stuff. Kyle Smith says heading to. Is that New Mexico? I don't know. And he says for 2 a.m. So, okay. I probably shouldn't have brought that one up. Here we go. Mr. Woodside says, watch Seattle beat the Bengals. Okay. Frosty the Bear says, mowing, cleaning, and then napping. Okay. Steely McBeeman says, root against all the other AFC North teams. Okay. Citizen X says, shopping. Should I say that? Why not?
You know what? Don't read the second one.
He says, drink beer and something else in football. Okay. Ruben Stone says, watch the Bears game.
Why?
Okay. I don't know that that's one I'd pick. You know which games I'll do some parlays and then I'll pay attention to those games more than anything.
Yep.
Oh, this is interesting. Jay Hanna, playing bagpipes with my daughter in a parade. Okay. No one I know what you mean by this.
I almost said this.
He says, not have a heart attack.
That's right.
But he's out of words, meaning because of over the Steelers game. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Did we get Sherry before or is this new?
No. That's
okay. I didn't know if that was an answer or if she was answering. So she'll be up at 9:30 a.m. That's when
watch football.
You can watch football from 9:30 a.m. until whenever. Go ahead. You take over, Rich.
All right. Jennifer Pruser, crafting. I have a cricket. Let's see. Demetrios says, take a nap.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people said they're going to sleep. Let's see.
Tyler said, no way his wedding's in the fall. I agree with you. Yeah.
Thomas Riley said, did Dave read mine? I don't know. Thomas, throw it in there again later on, and I'll check and see.
He's usually first. Was it something?
Oh, did we miss him first? Or
you know what happened? He did it to where not when we send these out, they don't all go out instantly. His actually fell in the middle of when they started to go or when they finished going. So yeah, yours was in the middle, Thomas. I found it. Do whatever the wife wants.
Smart man, because if he does that, then the next week he'll be able to watch the Steelers.
Then you can watch more Steelers game. Okay, yeah. So
I'm scrolling, looking to see if there's any more. Right?
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Wait, did you see Christopher 11? Watch 70 Steelers documentaries.
I have a couple of those on DVD, actually.
Yeah, I do too. Actually, I have one right after the Steelers won Super Bowl 40.
Bernardo, is this your plan?
Mm-hmm.
To stop by the Beehive to see some Dallas Cowboy safeties? Okay.
Yeah. Rich, that was a lot of fun tonight. I like that we could just focus on the game. Next week, we're going to talk about probably, rolling into the rest of the season, coming out of the bye, things to look at, things to grow on, things to fix, and looking ahead to that matchup. We're going to keep bringing you our shows. Now, there won't be a last-minute thoughts because there's not a game to have last-minute thoughts about. There's not going to be a post-game show because there's no game to go after. I'm pretty sure the Q&A, there's a chance, you'll find out later in the week that it might be Sunday instead of Saturday. But other than that, there was no Mike Tomlin press conference today because he didn't speak. So other than that, we're going to be bringing you our regular shows minus the ones that are affected by there actually being a game. So there'll be a preview Thursday night, all that good stuff. And I'm looking forward to I think the Steelers just kind of they had a lot of guys miss the game due to injury. And they have two more that were on IR that should be ready to come back.
Yeah,
this bye week from an injury standpoint could be at a really good time. And remember, the Steelers get two more mini buys later on this season. Correct. They get one at the beginning of November and one at the beginning of December. So yeah, the short weeks suck, but it's going to be kind of nice to get those mini buys in there, spread out later in the season. If you're going to have one in the first week of November, the first week of December, you might as well have your buy at the middle of October. That works out just fine. And it's I don't know, is it middle of October? Yeah, I guess it is middle of October. Because it's going to be like the 14th or 15th, so it's got to be the middle. But Rich, lots of fun. Hey, make sure you're checking out steelcurtainnetwork.com. And it's too late for people to get in. I know Jeff was giving away a Victory Monday shirt because the Steelers won. I'm pretty sure that's going to be announced tomorrow morning on Let's Ride. So hopefully you all got involved into that contest. And speaking of contests, people are asking about it. Oh, how's things going to the contest? The article's up at steelcurtainnetwork.com. Explain it. It's every Tuesday evening is when it goes out to say what's going on. I know poor Kyle, he got eliminated.
Kyle got bounced. Yeah.
Never pick against the Jaguars in London.
I told him, I said, you made a mistake. See, usually he and I talk about the pick, and we did not. And afterwards said, oh, we should have talked to him about why. I said, I told you the Jaguars stayed over there. They've been over there for 2 solid weeks. Their bodies have adjusted. They're ready to go. The Bills aren't even rolling over there till Friday. They're going to be sluggish. They're not going to be ready to play. I'd have held that pick of the Bills for later on in a different game. But he took
I don't know if anyone else from SCN, the staffer, is left. I'm left. I'm still going. I don't know if anyone else is. So, but I'm not going to win anyway because it was my football giveaway in the first place. So make sure you check that out there. I think there's 26 in one league and 16 in another. There was only 2 leagues this year because the website, we're still trying to get that built up. That's why, hey, we really need you all to go check out the website, steelcurtainnetwork.com, because, we're starting from scratch. Our results don't show up very well on Google because it's new. We really need you all to just go there and support. We're trying to work on things that would make it more user-friendly. But it's a process. All right, Rich, what do you want to say to close us out here tonight?
Let's see. Happy that the Steelers won last week. Sad that there will not be any Steelers football this week. Although then I must say glad because we got the chance to get some guys back and healthy because of that break. Still excited, waiting to see what the Steelers can do. Can we piece it together this year like we did last year after the bye and start to see real progress go on? Man, I hope so, especially offensively. I thought the defense showed up a little better this week than they did the week before. Not ready to let them off the hook 100% yet, but that was much more, especially the second half, much more what I'm used to seeing out of the Pittsburgh defense. Again, sad I won't be sitting on the couch watching Steelers do a knee-jerk reaction on Sunday. But if I'm not going to be there, where else would I rather be than sitting in a tree stand? Can't wait.